Welcome to Manhwa Recaps, spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. Huge shout out and special thanks to the channel members. The series starts with a woman being tortured in a chair, and a man says that he thought this was a game. The woman calls out to someone named Woo-hyun, saying she can't take it anymore, and he says that he told himself it was just a realistic game that he could log out at any time. She looks up at him crying, saying that she's sorry, and he yells telling her no, and we learn that her name is Sua. But it is not just her, as multiple people start calling out to Woo-hyun, saying that he has to be the one to survive, and they start dying one after the other. He says as time went on he had no choice but to accept it, and he begs that they don't leave him behind like this, and he slowly came to realize that this place had become his new reality. He starts screaming, and we learn he is in something called the Reverse Planet. It is a viral VR game praised by users for its themes of dimensional gates, special abilities, and invasion wars. He logged into it because a friend told him that it was good, and he got completely trapped in here, unable to leave the game. The men enter the room congratulating him, calling him test subject number 62, saying he has taken one step closer to becoming the transcendent for Project Transcendence. This is a project that grinds up thousands of people just to create a single transcendent, and they conducted inhumane biological experiments on kidnapped victims using electrical torture, drug injections, and body modifications. As they are taking away the bodies of everybody else, they are ordered to lock up Woo-hyun with the others. He sits there in anger, saying this is unforgivable, and if this has truly become his reality, he will make sure he gets his revenge no matter what. Some time later, sirens go off, saying a test subject has escaped, and all personnel need to arm themselves and be on standby. We see Woo-hyun and a group making a break for it, and he gets excited, saying that once they get past this corridor they will finally be free. But instantly they all stop in their tracks as a man stands in their way, saying that they crawled all the way here, but they surely didn't expect this would be their grave. They realize they are going to have to fight him, and they order Woo-hyun to support them from the rear. They start charging in, and eventually we see Woo-hyun has him in a chokehold until the man takes his final breath, but it looks like everyone else was killed in the process. Woo-hyun cries, saying he cannot believe this happened again, and the corpses of his allies start to haunt him, saying how unfair it is that he is the only one to survive, and he is completely ridden with guilt. After escaping the lab that day, the years went by, and eventually a very long time passed. To avenge the ones that he loved, he killed, and killed, and killed again as we see him taking down a group of enemies, and one of them makes a break for it, but he throws a knife, hitting him in the back of the throat. No matter how many he killed, his revenge was unending, and constantly he was having mental bouts with the guilt of being the only survivor. He wonders how much longer he has to live like this, saying surely it will not be until the day he dies. A status window appears in front of him, and he is surprised as it says that there is a bug fix, and if he eliminates the director of Project Transcendence, he will return to his original world. He makes his way further into the office, leaving nothing but corpses behind. We see a man on his knees asking him why he is doing this, as they were finally about to bask in glory. This is the executive director of Project Transcendence. Another man grabs him by the collar, saying surely he is not actually that clueless. This is test subject number 81 of the project, named Kim Youngjin. The director tells Youngjin to be quiet, but he calls out by his test subject number, saying he was not speaking to the likes of him, and he calls Woo-hyun by his full name, and we learn that he actually has the nickname of Superhuman. The director says that he obtained transcendence with nothing but a human body, and he is a true superhuman, the single most successful masterpiece of their project. The director starts to get angrier, calling him stupid, saying surely he does not think that if he kills him, everything will be over. The corporate alliance never forgives anyone who bears their fangs at them, and he says again that it is not just him, but his family, relatives, and colleagues will all be ruined. Before he even realizes it, he and his desk have been cut in half, and his body falls into two pieces on the floor. Some of it spills onto Youngjin, and he starts barking at Woo-hyun, asking why he spilled blood all over him, and why he killed him right away since he had questions for him. Woo-hyun just stares at the status window, saying that since he has completed his mission he can return to his original world. He says finally he is free, and he just needs to press the button, and at last he will be home. As he goes to do it, his survivor's guilt comes back, and everybody starts haunting him, saying surely he has not forgotten them, and that he needs to continue to get his revenge, and they will not rest until he does. He tells them that he is tired, and that he has done enough by now, and that it is fine even if he leaves this once, as this might be the first and last chance he ever gets. Youngjin snaps him out of it, and Woo-hyun tells him that he is going back to his original world now. Youngjin asks what he is talking about, as he has been here from the start, but Woohyun presses yes, saying he should tell the others too that he is sorry for leaving. He wakes up in his bed and starts panting. He looks around, saying it is definitely his room, and he wonders if he truly came back. He grabs his phone, wondering how much time has passed, but what he sees is that it is the same day he got dragged into the game, so no time passed at all. His body has reverted back, as all of his muscles are gone. He says it is as if it were all a dream, the years of him constantly fighting for his life as well as watching his comrades die, but there is no way that could have been a dream, as it was way too vivid, and he still has all the memories, and the 10 years he spent there were real. He gets a phone call from someone named Young Naeun. Woohyun wonders why that name sounds familiar. She starts yelling at him, asking why he is not answering, saying surely he did not forget their promise. He asks what she is talking about, and she says they said they would meet tonight, and she sends him the location so he should get there now. She hangs up, and he says he remembers that voice now. She was the only colleague he was remotely close to, and the one who recommended him Reverse Planet in the first place. He wonders if she planned it, but based on his memories it is unlikely, so he should go meet her anyway. He heads to the location and looks around until she waves, saying it has been a while since the end of term exams, and asking him if he wants to drink. He says he will pass on the alcohol today, because even if he gets drunk he does not know what will happen. She says she will order some food then, and as she does she asks if he has tried Reverse Planet yet, as last time he told her he passed the tutorial. He tells her he made a character and watched the intro, and right after that he was dragged straight in. She asks if he really just watched the intro, and says that is basically not playing at all. He starts to get annoyed, saying if she knew it made him suffer 10 years she would not be saying this, and it was all because of her. She starts to pout, saying she was looking forward to it, as he promised to be a regular guest on her stream. Since he was a Coliseum ranker, even showing half of that physicality on a small streamer like hers would blow up her channel. He is confused, then remembers that her hobby was streaming, and she would always pester them to play games together. Still, at least now, it feels like he finally came back. Back at his house, he looks into the company who made Reverse Planet. He tells himself that he has done enough, since he escaped that hell, so there is no point digging into it, and that he will forget everything from over there, as this is his real world now. We see him hanging out with some friends, and he says since that day, he went to and from school and tried to live an ordinary life, but constantly the survivor's guilt was still there with him, asking if he really returned, and if this is even his real reality. He turns to stare at the apparition, but when he does it is gone, and he says slowly everything began to fall out of place, and when he looked at people, he saw the faces of his dead comrades. He starts tweaking, and the other students say maybe he is on Fent. He heads into the hallway to catch his breath, until somebody grabs his shoulder. This causes him to freak out even more, and he grabs the man's wrist, pulling him forward, reaching into his pocket, pulling out a knife, and slicing the man's throat, before he snaps out of it, realizing there is nothing in his hand and he does not have his old uniform. He apologizes, saying he was startled, and the guy tells him he has been acting strange lately. He looks down at his trembling hand and heads outside, cracking open a cold one, and sits on a bench. Once more, the ghosts of his comrades call out to him, telling him to come back, saying surely he has not forgotten them, and the haste to avenge them. He yells for it to stop, until Naeun calms him down. She says he looks pale, and that he seems out of it these days, asking what is wrong. He tells her that it is nothing. She says even if he says so, if anything does happen, he needs to tell her, and she will help him. He says he finally realized now that it was him who brought the ghosts back in the first place, but she heads back to class. That night he goes to a VR capsule, saying that if none of this ends until they are satisfied, then at this rate this world is no different from the one he was stuck in, so he will go back to Reverse Planet, and see it through to the end this time. The status window then welcomes him to the game, and as he spawns in he looks into a mirror, saying that this is the lab's waiting room. He wonders why he is just in the game world, and why he could not go back to that world. Just when he had finally resolved himself to return to that hell. He says there must be some other condition he has to meet. The status window asks if he would like to confirm his appearance, and he says that for now he will proceed with the tutorial, as he might be able to return to that world once it is over, but first he needs to take care of the settings. In that other world he fought well enough even without combat assistance, so he sets it to 0. He proceeds with the initial ability setup, saying he should choose his first core ability element, and they can be reset at any time. Reverse Planet's ability system is designed to strengthen a character by first selecting a core element, and then enhancing it with various sub-elements. The entire structure from core to sub-elements is called a build. The number of elements is so vast that in pro leagues there are professional builders who dedicate themselves solely to theory crafting. Among all of them, the one that earned him the title of superhuman was none other than this one, and he selects it, but we do not get to see what it is yet. Somebody chimes in over the speaker calling him Test Subject 48, saying it seems he awakened in the last experiment, and it has been a week. He says the game does not show the process before the awakening, but he doubts anyone would actually want to experience that. It tells him to step inside again for the next experiment, and he sees something he recognizes. It is called Eternal, a killing machine created to stop the rampages of awakeners from Project Transcendence, and the very reason countless test subjects lost their lives. It tells him he needs to fight it, and he can tell it is an early model, but he gets PTSD flashbacks of his comrades being murdered by it. It glares at him, syncing with the one running at him in the present. He says it is the same here as there, and the researchers are always doing disgusting things. He dodges the first attack, and Eternal instantly follows with 3 more. He ducks underneath, closes the gap, and puts his hand directly on it. He says the final version is tricky since it can use abilities, but this is nothing more than an early model, and he slams it straight into the floor. He slams it so hard that it falls into pieces across the room, which means the experiment is complete. The voice calls him incredible, saying at this level his aptitude for abilities is incomparable to ordinary test subjects, and now it is time for the next experiment. The entire lab begins shaking, and the person on the intercom forgets to turn off their mic, asking what is happening. As it turns out, the government is invading, and we hear the man die. A woman then chimes in, saying this is a message for all victims trapped in the laboratory, and they need to use their strength and get outside immediately. He begins to maybe recognize her voice. The tutorial quest changes to escape the lab, as it starts to self-destruct. He quickly moves down the hallway, asking how many explosions he just heard, and the hallway is a complete mess. As he runs by, he spots a man bleeding out in the corner. He sees the Interdimensional Management Bureau's mark, meaning he is not an enemy. The man says that if he made it this far, he intends to escape, and if he wishes, he can help him, and he should pick any weapon he chooses. He hands him a radio, saying that once he is outside he can send a signal, and the Bureau will pick him up, then he dies. Woo-hyun hears footsteps as another Eternal appears around the corner. He says he forgot this was just a game, and that it must be a necessary segment for progression. He walks over to the board of weapons, takes the chain sickle, and wonders what this disgusting feeling is. Meanwhile, a woman named Kang Soil is complaining that she cannot believe she is playing Reverse Planet, saying her pride in playing retro games is being crushed. She says that they are the ones who decided she would play this, but a promise is a promise, and she never breaks one to her viewers. They flame her, saying she has lied so far, and she changes the subject, saying she will begin the penalty for failing to clear, and that she is starting the game. She says there is no need to change her character's appearance, and for her ability she chooses something cool like fire. Lastly, she sets combat assistance to 50%, but the chat tells her it has to be 0. She says clearing the tutorial with 0 assistance is not possible, as the percentage of users worldwide who play with 0 assistance is near 0. Her skills have been honed by other games, so she is confident in her mechanics, but no assist makes the controls feel like controlling a third arm that just sprouted. She tells them she would like to go with no assistance, but then somebody donates 500,000 won. She instantly folds, saying she is down for it. She runs out of her room, saying she will clear the tutorial quickly, but gets folded immediately by the Eternal. She grabs her walkie-talkie, saying she cannot believe it threw her into a fight with no explanation, as it stomps on her. She says she has the radio and a weapon now, so she just needs to escape. It starts auto-matchmaking her. And she forgot this was a mechanic. If she clears with a matched party member it still counts as her completing it. People in chat say she is getting carried, but others say she will not find a match because matchmaking only works with people who have the same combat assistance percentage. She says that means she definitely cannot get help, and they laugh at her for falling for it. But then it actually matches her. She says she is screwed as it warps her to where her party member is. When she opens her eyes, she sees tons of Eternals dead on the ground, and says this is no joke. People say it is probably a pro smurfing, but others say there is no pro who can do this in the tutorial with no assistance. She looks at the bodies, saying he did not take a gun like she did, and wonders what weapon he used, but regardless he is the perfect carry. She says she will find him now, and we see Woo-hyun up ahead as he is covered in blood. He hears footsteps, then turns staring at the corner. As she comes around it, He leaps at her, as she asks where her teammate is. He stops himself just before stabbing her in the face. She stares at the blade, freaks out, then hides around the corner, begging to be saved. He apologizes, saying he was mistaken. But she can tell by his lab coat that he is her party member. He tells her he is leaving, and she asks if she can go with him since they were matched together. She introduces herself, informing him he is on a live broadcast, but privacy mode is on so his face is hidden. He stops moving, and she wonders if he is mad, but then armed guards approach them, saying they need to kill them, and not capture them alive. They start firing, and she takes cover behind an ethanol, wondering why the tutorial difficulty is so high. She calls Woo-hyun her bus driver, asking if he is okay, but she sees him flying through the air dodging bullets, using his chain sickle to attack from range. She asks if the chat is watching, saying she does not know much about the game, but she can tell this is crazy, asking if anyone knows what kind of ability he is using, as his eye color turned black. They say it might be wind, judging by weapon movement, but then someone says the only core element that boosts physical stats while changing eye color is transcendence. She says she heard that was a trash ability that makes you unable to use others, so everyone told her not to pick it, and the chat says they are just as confused as she is. We learn more about transcendence. It's one of the many core elements of Reverse Planet. It boosts physical abilities and resistance to ability attacks, but in exchange you become unable to use any ability skills, a penalty considered absolute hot dog shit among every user. Soil's chat explodes, saying they've never seen anyone willingly pick a build that disables abilities in a game where abilities are the entire point. Still, seeing his black irises, that's definitely what he picked. Someone suggests maybe the physical stat raise is important, but she says even then he'd still only be level 1. She wonders if movements like that are even possible for a level 1 player, and begins to question what kind of human he must be outside the game. As Woo-hyun kills the last guards, he drops his shoulders and stares down at his blade. The guilt returns, the voices of his comrades whispering that it isn't enough, that he still hasn't taken enough revenge, they aren't satisfied. Another guard peers around the corner and aims his rifle at Woo-hyun, but Soil dashes in yelling that it's dangerous. She fires 3 shots, forcing the man back behind the wall, then slides in while he's panicked and puts a bullet through his head. Her chat starts gassing her up. She proudly asks Woo-hyun how that was, saying that she was at least a little helpful, right? But Woo-hyun is zoned out again, remembering a little girl from the other world and all the comrades he couldn't save. She snaps him out of it, worried he's mad. He tells her not to worry, as she was helpful. She asks if they can finish the tutorial mission together, and he agrees. As they walk, she calls him bus driver, saying she has a question. He tells her just to call him Woo-hyun. She's shocked that he used his real name, since it isn't filtered. She tells him it might be rude to ask, but wants to know whether he really picked Transcendence as his core ability. He confirms that he did, then, chat says he's cooked, since you can't change your core after choosing it. Only sub-abilities can be swapped. She then asks how he dodged bullets without any ability skills, and also if he plays any other games. He says he doesn't have any he particularly enjoys. Then he suddenly stops walking. She asks what's wrong. He says there are 2 ethanals about 20 meters ahead. She is confused since he doesn't have long-range detection abilities. So there's no way he can know that. But he tells her not to worry and keeps walking. She sighs, saying that there's no way it's real. Until she turns the corner and sees the 2 ethanals standing right where he said. She freaks out. Then Woo-hyun says he used to enjoy playing Colosseum quite a bit. She yells that he's walking straight at them. He dodges under the first strike and kicks the entire ethanal into a concrete wall. While it's falling, he says he was a ranker on Colosseum. He then grabs the other one and shatters its core with a single punch. Chat loses it. But realize if he was a Colosseum ranker, the movement makes sense. She asks if being a ranker is a big deal. Some chatters don't know, but others say, if you were a Colosseum ranker, pro scouts approached you instantly. Someone else says the only player who actually made it pro straight from Colosseum was Battler. She is surprised since Battler is the most famous Reverse Planet pro. Chat now wonders whether Woo-hyun ever fought Battler. They reach the final part of the tutorial and Woo-hyun freezes when he sees the red-haired lion-looking guard captain. It's the same man who blocked their escape in the real lab. The captain repeats the same line he told him back then. Woo-hyun laughs at the fact this portion was just considered the tutorial. He zones out again, the voices of his comrades whispering, screaming at him to devour the man. The captain leaps at him, but Soil pulls out an assault rifle from literally nowhere. The bullets bounce off a particle barrier. She panics, since she thought only awakened superhumans had particle barriers. She says she'll give him support fire from behind as she runs away. Chat mocks her for instantly relying on her carry. Woo-hyun reminds himself that this is only a game. And if doing this satisfies his comrades even slightly, then he'll do it for them. He steps forward and punches the captain in the ribs, hard enough to shatter the particle barrier with his fist, sending the man flying into the wall. Soil and Chat are speechless. Someone says this has to be a bug. The captain activates Iron Man. Just as it sounds, it makes his skin turn into solid metal. He stomps forward, the floor shattering under his steps, saying he is going to rip Woo-hyun apart. Woo-hyun dodges repeatedly, then the captain's arm transforms into a drill, but he still cannot land a single blow. Woo-hyun tightens his fist and uppercuts him in the jaw, breaking his goggles. The captain falls to his knees. Woo-hyun tells him not to cancel his ability, or he'll die too quickly. The voices of his comrades yell for him to tear the captain apart the same way they were. The captain asks how a mere test subject could be this powerful. Woo-hyun tells him it's all thanks to him, then tears into him, ripping him apart piece by piece until the security chief is dead. Soil is just staring in horror. Chat says that the carry is nuts. She says that now that they've defeated the tutorial boss, all that's left is escaping. Woo-hyun walks away as ghosts devour the captain. Finally they exit the lab. Completing the tutorial grants them a level up and a skill point. She asks if he'll continue the main quest today. But he says nah, since he's stopping for now. She asks him to wait. He says sure. She tells her Chat the tutorial is complete and she'll see them tomorrow. The ends her stream. She then asks what he's doing later. Proposing that he become a regular on her stream, she will mostly play the main quest but also do some PvP on the side. She says she'll fit her schedule to his and will even pay him an appearance fee on top of it. He says he'll pass. Then she asks if she can at least add him as a friend. He says yes. She logs out, thanking him for playing with her. Woo-hyun says that now the tutorial is over, he wants to know why he still hasn't returned to the other side. Back in reality, he had no way of knowing what kind of future his gameplay would bring, or that someone had even donated asking him what it feels like to be back in the real world. The next morning, at the Korean branch of Planet Earth, the people who developed Reverse Planet, the entire office was in chaos because of Woo-hyun. It was an unprecedented incident in the company's history. They watch it, saying it's unbelievable. There's no buffs, stat correction, or weapons, yet he crushed the security chief barehanded. The online community assumes he's hacking, and users are flooding the company board, demanding an explanation. One of the men asks if they're certain it's not a hack. They say they're 100% certain. They checked everything, even the logs from the moment the character was created. There was no evidence of him tampering, an external program injection. They've seen countless hackers over the years, but they've never seen any movement like his at all. Even with hacks, that kind of precision is impossible. The man says if it's not hacks, then he's just insane. They say there's a small chance it could be a new one they haven't detected, and the dude says that's right. So they need proper verification. Later we see him having a drink with Nayeon. He asks if the community has really been flipped upside down because of him. She says it's in complete chaos. People even started a no modification challenge, and everyone failed, so they're crying that he's hacking. She was shocked too when she saw the video. He asks how she recognized him when that girl had her privacy filter on. He said his full government ID, and she's seen him fight before, so she already knew he was good, but for him to be at this level he's crazy. He says that must be why they contacted him, and she asks what he's talking about. He tells her that Planet Earth contacted him, and she freaks out saying they must be wanting to investigate whether he used hacks. Soil messaged him as well, and he tells her about that. She says that a game company directly stepping in to verify the use of hacks is going to get tons of attention, and asks if he's going to do it. He says it's the Korean branch, but still it's his only choice to directly interact with the developers. If someone high-ranking shows up he might even obtain clues about the other world. So he told them that he'd think about it, but he's going to do it. She says that's a good choice. If he's going to keep getting mentioned it's better to clarify, and him being called a hacker everywhere he goes will be annoying. He says he doesn't really care, and he doesn't know if people recognize him as he didn't show his face on the stream. She says even with a different appearance his fighting style is too unique. Even pros don't fight without abilities like him. These days when pros hide their identity their fighting habits give them away. Woo-hyun says that internet detectives sure are crazy, and she agrees, but says it's good that he's doing it otherwise that streamer would have gotten flamed. Woo-hyun asks why since she has nothing to do with him. She says that the mob wouldn't care. Once dramas start they aim at anyone related to it. At first they'll flame him, but soon after they'll aim for her too. Woo-hyun says in that case he won't let that happen, and he replies telling her that he'll do it. She's surprised he agreed. She says with this level of hype the stream viewer count is going to skyrocket. She starts laughing, telling them all just to wait because they're going to witness something never seen in Reverse Planet's history. She's sending out a notice about the hack verification stream. 4 days later Woo-hyun logs in, and she runs over saying that it's surely been hard on him, and this is all because of her. He tells her that it's okay, asking if she doesn't suspect him. She says no, she saw his movements herself. His eyes looked more like that of a deranged killer, and she doesn't think a hacker would have that kind of aura around them. It was just instinct. She then says it's time to start the stream, and she thanks everyone for waiting. Chat starts flooding with flame, telling her to get the hacker out of here. She says that she's got 10,000 viewers right now, and this is insane. This just proves how much interest this controversy has drawn, which is why she's invited him. He introduces himself again, and people start flaming him. She tells chat to calm down because if they keep doing this she'll disable it. She says before the main verification she wants to know what he thinks about it. He says that the fact that something like this became a controversy is ridiculous, and he shakes his head. They call him pretentious, and she says that it was too amazing to not have a controversy to be honest. Then they ask how they're going to prove it, and she tells them that they invited a special guest for the verification. Bro just spawns in, then he introduces himself as Park Gyu-vyun, the operations team 1 manager of Planet Earth Korea. They start going crazy that she actually brought a game master, and Woo-hyun says since he's an operations team manager he might know something. After the verification he's to ask him questions. They all introduce themselves to one another, and Gyu-vyun stares at Woo-hyun saying he looks normal on the outside, but says that he'll guide them both to the verification area, and he teleports them there. She says that was sick, and Gyu-vyun says that this is a private training room. People use it to practice abilities or combat. As mentioned earlier they will conduct multiple combat tests to check for any external program assistance. Woo-hyun says he doesn't recall the space from the other world, and Gyu-vyun confirms that he consents to the testing. Woo-hyun says he does, and then the door opens as an upgraded tier of the Eternal steps out. He recognizes it as a mid-tier 1, and Woo-hyun's eyes instantly go black. His comrades tell him that they're scared, but they still want revenge. Gyu-vyun says that from here on out he'll just need to kill them all, but before he finishes his sentence it begins rumbling, and he looks to his side as Woo-hyun is already gone. More debris flies in, and he barely blocks it. As he has to hold the clipboard up everybody watches as he just beats the mid-tier Eternal with his bare fist. He eventually finishes, and Gyu-vyun's little program says that there was no external program interference detected, and that he's definitely not hacking. Gyu-vyun says they weren't able to detect any external programs, but the verification duration is too short, asking if he would be able to fight in the method they specify. Woo-hyun says of course, and he says it must be to confirm if he's not using an autopilot cheat. An autopilot cheat is fundamentally a proxy control system operated by a program, so it cannot perform combat exactly as the user wants. Therefore, if you decide in advance how you're going to win the fight, and then fight according to that plan, you can prove that you're not cheating. Gyu-vyun says that he needs to slash the heads of the 3 training bots with his sickle. Woo-hyun says okay, but Gyu-vyun's confused on why he accepted it since this is very disadvantageous for him, but he still can't imagine him losing as the 3 Eternals leap at him. All 3 punch together towards his head, but he instantly takes one of them off, and leaps back, finishing the other 2 in with a single dash as well. He takes a look back as they fall onto the floor, and Soil says she knew she saw it back then, and that his weapon moves as if it was alive. Some people in chat say that his weapon is overpowered, but other people say that it's him, and not the weapon. Gyu-vyun says that with this he's collected enough data for verification, but as the administrator of this game, he's just dying to know if he can win against the advanced level training bot with only 1 core ability. He knows that he's being greedy, but he still wants to find out. They then race the gate. He has a humanoid-like robot. He starts to walk towards him, and the chat says that he's crossed a line, and this admin is toxic. It looks like one of the things from I Am Robot. Gyu-vyun says that this will be the final verification test, and this is one of the later versions of the Eternal. Woo-hyun is surprised because the last time he fought this, all of his comrades were ripped apart by it, and he still can recall its evil smile. He starts to get pissed, but the Eternal moves in first, punching towards his head. He dodges, but it still grazes his cheek, and the Eternal instantly counters with 3 more attacks, which send shockwaves out. but Woo-hyun dodges them, causing them to shatter the wall behind him. He says that as expected, intermediate bots can't be compared to this one. If he allows even one strike it'll be bad. He then hits it in the side, and says not to mention that the hardness of its body is on a whole different level, so he can't damage it at all. He goes for another punch, which he ducks underneath, and he says in that case he'll just beat her up until the damage builds. The robot is then whacked over, and over. Gyu-vyun says that for him to actually be able to match this bot with one core ability is crazy, and while it looked like he was being pushed back earlier, he's now starting to completely overwhelm the bot, keeping it on the defensive, and it looks like further inspection is meaningless. He makes the Eternal disappear, seeing that he got rid of it since he's got enough data to verify the results. Woo-hyun says he was wondering why it disappeared, but that makes sense. Soil then asks how the verification turned out, and he says that it's clearly been confirmed that there is no external program involved, meaning he's not a cheater. The chat starts to get torn apart between whether to believe it or not, and Soil says that she told him as well that he wasn't cheating. They've even started giving him a nickname called the Haxical. She says she likes that one, but tells them all to remember that Woo-hyun has never used hacks, and he just has a high level of mechanics. Now that the verification is over, she wants Woo-hyun to tell them how he feels. He just tells them all good work, and Gyu-vyun laughs saying it was a fun experience. She then ends her live stream, which has over 100,000 viewers, and she thanks both Gyu-vyun and Woo-hyun for showing up to her stream. Gyu-vyun says that he's just glad that Woo-hyun accepted the verification request, and Woo-hyun says it wasn't much. Gyu-vyun then goes to leave, but Woo-hyun tells him to wait since he has a question to ask him. Gyu-vyun wonders what it is, and Woo-hyun asks if the game has ever had a bug before, something like getting stuck in it for a very long time. Gyu-vyun says he's never heard anything like that, and if there had been a critical bug like that, this game wouldn't have blown up. Woo-hyun tells him that he has a point, and Gyu-vyun leaves. Soil sighs, saying that now that it's done, she's going to go back to her stream. She's planning to share the stream revenue with him, asking if she can contact him later. He says he doesn't really need it, but to just call him. She really doesn't want to let him go since he's a living, breathing clip farm. He asks what else she wants to say, and she says she can't bring herself to ask him to be on a stream again, and the only reason he accepted it is because he needed this chance to explain himself, and that she needs to draw the line here for today, and she says that she'll call him next time. Woo-hyun though is disappointed that he didn't get as much information as he wanted. He then gets a message from Naeun, saying that she'll meet him in the battle prep room. Later she pulls up, asking how it was to be on a stream for the first time, and he says that was actually his second, but it doesn't suit him at all, and he has to keep an eye on what the viewers say, and he just didn't like it. She says she sees, and in that case he could just play the game, and not care about the viewers. She'll set up everything so he can make his decision after he tries it. He really doesn't want to do it, but she tells him it's time for them to go do some PvP. Obviously it's just a game mode where players fight against one another, and it's one of the two biggest game modes in Reverse Planet. Woo-hyun asks if this is really why she called him here so suddenly, and she says of course, asking if he was going to leave without playing it with her. He says he just feels like it doesn't suit him, so he's going to just not play for a while. He just wanted to return to the other world. She tells him that PvP is the core content of the game, and he shouldn't jump to conclusions after playing just the tutorial. Woo-hyun says that the story mode is quite similar to the other world, but everything he sees in PvP will be new, and there might be something different other than when he went into story mode. He tells her he'll give it a try, and she says that she'll explain it to him now. First off, Showdown is literally having a showdown against matched opponents, and there are two modes, which is 1v1, and 2v2s. Warfare is a game mode that forces you to fight in a team of 5. Then there's what they're going to be playing today, which is just a battle royale, for only the last person or team alive wins. She says that since it's his first time, they should go in as a team, and that he needs to build to play PvP, so she can recommend one. He says that's fine as he already knows a good one, as he's following the exact same build that allowed him to be called superhuman in the other world. He says that he'll get his build ready as she goes live, and she says okay. She says that they'll start at the military base, which is a popular place, and there's tons of high-ranking equipment, which means people drop hot there. She asks if it's okay if she records it, since she wants to upload it to YouTube. He tells her to go for it, and then she starts it, and it starts to spawn her into the military base. She says that she's going to move to a different area. Woo-hyun spawns in a building behind a man, but Woo-hyun closes the gap. Meanwhile, Naeun's outside, and as explosions are going off, she sees in the kill feed that Woo-hyun gets a kill already, but it's not just one, and he starts flooding the kill feed, killing hella people in rapid succession. We see a man get stabbed in the chest as Woo-hyun eliminated yet another person. He says he can't feel the presence of any other players, and so that guy must have been the last survivor around here. Even so, he didn't expect to face 4 people at once as soon as he came down the stairs. Now that he's done with this, it's time for him to get out. He then hears Nayeon telling him that she needs help, but she's surrounded by too many people. He opens the map, seeing where she is, and he says that she's quite far away. He tells her he's on the way though, asking where in the building she is. She says that she's on the 3rd floor's roof. She hears so much noise coming from downstairs, and that every floor has someone fighting on it. He says that he'll deal with it, and starts running straight towards her. 2 of the men who were fighting turn towards Woo-hyun, and one of them prepares his ability, but it's too late as Woo-hyun unsheathes his knife, and cuts the dude's arm off, eliminating him. The other dude freaks out, and says he must be a physical type, and launches an ability at him. Woo-hyun leaps in the air to avoid it, and while the dude's pogging out about the movement, he gets his neck sliced. That's yet another elimination, and Woo-hyun continues, eliminating even more people until he tells Nayeon that he's at the front gate of the building. She asks if she should come down to support, but he tells her to stay right there, and as soon as he puts his hand on the door he says that there are 5 people inside of here. When he opens it, we see a man hiding behind the door, thinking that he's gotten him, and he comes in for the sneak attack, but Woo-hyun grabs his wrist. The dude looks up confused before Woo-hyun punches him 3 times in the chest, killing him instantly. He says that he needs to pick up the pace, and starts hauling cheeks upstairs, eliminating everybody on his way up. Waiting by the door, Nayeon is surprised at the kill feed, and says that he's just smurfing right now. She then senses somebody behind her, and turns to attack, but misses. We see it was none other than Woo-hyun, who can't believe she just attacked him, and she says that scared her. She didn't notice him until he got right beside her, but she'd expect no less from someone who has 14 kills already. He wonders if he really even needed to come here. She asks if he took out all the enemies in this building already, and he says that he's more curious about the chainsaws she's using, and she says it was the only thing she could find around here, but she tells him she can't lose to him now, and that now that they're together she'll carry him for the rest of the game. He says sure, and eventually the game ends, with him in first place. He got 25 kills, and 7 assists, and she got 7 kills, and 15 assists. The game has now ended, but this happens over, and over, and over, and it turns out they actually won 10 times in a row. She says that she's too tired to play anymore, so they should call it here. She says that she thought he was an ordinary college student, but it turns out that he's a killing machine, and she's going to get him on her stream. She tells him to wait for 2 days without doing his main missions, and she'll bring an official offer. He tells her that he's not interested. She tells him to listen, and she promises to bring a good one, and she'll see him later. After she leaves, he says in the end he couldn't get any hints from the PvP either. Meanwhile we see Soil on her phone kicking her feet. She's reading the forum as a lot of them are talking about her, and Woo-hyun. She starts to get excited, and rolls, saying this is a jackpot. She had over 100,000 viewers, and she doesn't think something like this will ever happen again in her career. She wishes that she could keep streaming with him, so maybe she should have tried a bit harder, but it looks like he had made up his mind, and she decides to check how much they made. Her jaw drops. The next day though we see Woo-hyun, and Nayeon sitting at a cafe. He says he was wondering why she called him here so suddenly, asking what the hell she's even looking at, and she says that it's a PowerPoint she made to persuade him, asking what he thinks. He wonders why she spent the entire night on this, and she says that he said it was okay as long as the streamer only has him playing the game. She was thinking about doing it as a reality show, a broadcast format where multiple cast members gather in the studio, and watch the recorded footage of other cast members. He plays the game, and she'll do the communication, and if he believes that it's not enough with just her, they can bring in a pro commentator, and that the profit will be a 6-to-4 ratio, asking if that's not a good idea. He says that he's really not interested. She tells him that he doesn't know how much stream profits really are, but then realizes he must have gotten his share from Soil already. He says that he did get an email from her this morning, and then when he opens it she tells him his portion is 6 million won, and that there was a funny donation message that she thought she'd share with him. She starts to get excited, asking if he's really not interested, but he wonders what the message is, and he's instantly surprised, as anonymous viewer 62, which was also his lab number, says that it's good to see him again, asking how it feels to be back in reality, and they have a special mission just for him, and that they'll only see him when he's streaming. Woo-hyun can tell that based on the fact that they're using his lab number, and that they know he's from the other world, This must be someone related to it. He asks if it's possible to find out about donors' information, and Nayan says that you can't because of a ton of privacy laws, and you can't even send a message to them first, he can only communicate during a stream. He tells her he'll do it then, and that he'll start streaming. She says no take-backs, and he tells her he wants to do this instead. Sometime later, on a Friday evening, it's time for everyone to enjoy their leisure, each with their own expectations. Those who proudly called themselves nerds gather before their computers with one anticipation, and that is because Woohyun's stream is about to start. 5 minutes before it did, at the broadcast studio in Reverse Planet we see Nayan absolutely shaking, and her cast member says that she is way too nervous, and he tells her that they prepared thoroughly so there shouldn't be any problems with this. When he got the call to be on today's broadcast it got him very nervous too. He's a professional commentator for Reverse Planet named Cha Sung-chul, and he says he never thought there'd be someone other than her who would call Woohyun to the stream. He laughs, saying that as soon as she told him she was his friend, he promised to appear on the show. It's about time for them to go live, and they both get ready. They both greet the audience, and the audience asks where Woohyun is, saying to bring him now. Nayan says that a lot of them are confused, but they're not gonna be seeing Woohyun right now, and not to get disappointed because he is in the game. As we see him standing there, he even has a mask on to hide his identity, and Nayan says that as they can see, their show Hacks Tour, because his nickname is the Haxical, is going to proceed in the form of a reality show. They're going to be commentating while watching him play the game, and she's sure all of them are dying to know how he plays Reverse Planet, and they should find out together. Nayan then messages Woohyun telling him to get started, and he says with this it's time for him to begin. He radios in, starting the main mission, which is to pass through the guards who are searching for the test subject, and join the Otherworld Management Bureau located outside the forest. He says it's the same as last time. Back on that world he only focused on running away, but this time he'll do the opposite. He screams at the top of his lungs, telling them over here, and the guards start turning, saying that they can jump on him from all directions. He reaches for his sickle, saying that he's going to kill them all, as his comrades urge him to do so. The guards start laying fire on him, but he bobs, and weaves, dodging the bullets, and slices one of the men's guns, causing an explosion. He starts killing more of the guards, proceeding with his mission, and while this continues we see from the broadcast studio Nayan and Sung-chul say this isn't the Reverse Planet they know of, and he says he's never seen this in his entire career. He doesn't have a strategy, he's just gathering all the enemies up. Some of the chat say they thought he went crazy when he started screaming, but it turns out that he didn't. People then start saying that his skill transcendence might actually be broken. Nayan brings it up asking Sung-chul what he thinks, and he says that he can tell right now that's not the case. Most skills have their own unique cooldowns. Because of that it may seem like Woohyun's build is overpowered since he's able to use his core abilities without a cooldown, but transcendence only enhances the physical abilities of the user, and it doesn't affect his battle intelligence, or weapon proficiency. Not only that he's not using any buffs, and if he were to exaggerate a little he could fight like that in real life if he possessed the same physical abilities. In other words only Woohyun can bring out Transcendence's true potential. Woohyun notices something, and this time a different squad pulls up, and surrounds him. The man introduces himself as Kim Chul of the Otherworld Management Bureau. He says that he needs to drop his weapon, and surrender. Exactly what the name sounds like, it's a government department that eliminates invading entities that come from dimensional gates. It mainly traps, and eliminates dangerous invading entities inside the Reverse Planet where dimensions are mixed. Woohyun says that Director Kim is a team leader, and he actually knows him, but he didn't expect to meet him here. Director Kim tells his men that he must be a victim who escaped the laboratory, and that they're sorry for mistaking him as an enemy. Woohyun says it's no problem, and then they notice the walkie-talkie. Woohyun says an agent gave this to him, and said the lab, and Director Kim says that he's sad to see that guy must have died. Woohyun says he's the same way as he was in the other world. Director Kim then says in that case he should stay at the Bureau until they confirm his identity. He agrees, and now he's completed the quest, giving him a level up, and an ability point. At the headquarters he says he never thought he'd be inside of this room. In the other world he gathered funds for his revenge by taking requests from a firm after he escaped the lab. He took on all kinds of requests like assassinations, and abductions, and the biggest one was the subjugation of Reverse Planet's monsters. The firm would commission him to clear Reverse Planets, aiming for the spoils of battle, and whenever they decided the loot was useless they'd dump the cleanup work onto him. Doing that naturally had him getting frequently entangled with the Bureau, and there were many times they cooperated on subjugation operations, But there were also a lot of times when conflicts arose, and they'd end up pointing their blades at each other. A woman then enters, greeting him, saying that her name is Lee Yujin, and she is affiliated with the first team of the Bureau. People start hyping her up, and Woo-hyun recognizes her as well. She says he's come a long way, and that he has two choices. The first is to live on it as a normal person under the protection of the Bureau. In that case the use of his ability is prohibited, and the second is to become affiliated with them. If he chooses the latter option he won't be acting as an official agent, but after a certain amount of training he'll be sent off on missions once they've decided that he's ready. Woo-hyun says he killed one of their agents in that world, but now they're asking him to become their ally. As Yujin wonders what option he'll choose. Woo-hyun says that if he chooses to remain a civilian, he'll end up taking corporate contracts just like over there, and he doesn't want to walk that path again, so he'll become one of their agents. She gets excited, saying that he made the right choice, and him joining will be a tremendous help. Lately other corporations have been scouting the Awaken, and so they've been short on manpower. She's not saying this because she's an agent of the Bureau, but she's certain many people say that they regret signing contracts with them. Since they're still in the early stages of training the Awaken, they lack the necessary expertise. In contrast the Bureau is an organization with a long history, and has tons of extensive knowledge in training the Awaken, and subjugating the reverse planet. Of course the League of Enterprises offers better rewards, but the missions are more dangerous. Woo-hyun says in the other world there were a lot of Awaken who lost their lives while carrying out the corporation request, and they even refused to pay some, but in the end he forced them to spit out the money they owed him. Because of that incident they discovered he was an unregistered Awaken, and he ended up being pursued by the Bureau. He met Director Kim back then. She says she's going to request his Awaken registration to their IT team, and this bonus is for business use. He asks what he should start with, and she says he will receive training, and be promoted once they confirm his ability. She hopes he gets dispatched to Team 1, which is the team she's in. He says he hopes that too, because he's indebted to her while he was in that world, and although they clashed many times afterwards, thanks to her taking the lead in the raid on the lab he and his comrades were able to survive, though they didn't last that much longer afterwards. She says she looks forward to working with him. While this is happening Naeun asks how he's having such a natural conversation with an NPC, and she thought communicating with them like that wasn't possible. Even Sungchul is surprised. Naeun says the last time she talked to her it was like talking to a robot, and Sungchul says he can't believe it. It's like an adaptive AI. The chat says they didn't know this was possible, and that the game is amazing. Fully adaptive AI is an NPC that can fully respond to any situation and request. Unlike existing NPCs it can communicate freely and seamlessly. He says it's a technology that takes up so many resources that most believed it was impossible to implement into a game. She wonders if maybe the devs solved the resource problem, and he says that's probably not the case. And it's probably just an Easter egg, wondering if it has something to do with zero combat assistance. Sungchul says that he's cooking something up, and this is going to create some heat up in the forums. He says he'll personally be staying awake in anticipation of what the dev team at Planet Earth will announce. He knows someone very interested in the game's storyline, and that she'll be intrigued in this situation, and so he might be able to bring her in as a guest to the show. She's a huge figure in the community. But also it's a shame that she said this was as far as he'd play for today, and Naeun says it is, and they can look forward to the next stream if they're curious for more. They'll be switching to PvP content from here on out. He heads to the PvP area, and says that viewer 62 has not appeared yet. It turns out that day at the cafe he told Naeun that if she finds any donations, or comments from viewer 62 to let him know immediately, and he doesn't care about the situation he's in. Seeing as she hasn't contacted him he's going to have to continue streaming, and he tells her he's ready to start. She says today's content will be Showdown. For further information this is his first time playing it. Sungchul says in that case he'll be starting in the normal league. There are a total of 8 ranks in Reverse Planet, and he's going to have to win 10 times in the normal league. Statistically speaking it takes a professional player about 30 minutes, and an average player about 2 hours. Somebody tells him that if he hits bronze in 30 minutes he'll get a fat reward, and Naeun passes this on, asking if he can go on a 10-game win streak in under 30 minutes. He gives her the OK symbol, and the chat starts calling him cocky at this point. Naeun says this is getting exciting, and Sungchul says that he can't wait to see if he'll complete the mission. This was when they realized something was off. As Woo-hyun spawns in he has 10 seconds until the start, and Sungchul is the first to notice that he's using a weapon he hasn't used before. Now they start to understand just how much they've been underestimating Woo-hyun. And when the first round begins a man starts to cast his spell, but before he can even finish his sentence he gets sliced into 4 pieces. He defeated him in less than 2 seconds. The next round starts, and the dude realizes he's a smurf, and says that he gives up. In the second match he's fighting someone else who's trying to use shadow spears, but they aren't working, and he gets cleaved in half, ending the first round, and the dude also gives up. In the third we see a man leaping at him using physical abilities, but of course he gets defeated too, and this continues over and over. The time it took for him to get 10 wins in a row was only 20 minutes, which was lightning fast, because even pros take longer than that. Nayan says that was amazing, and she feels robbed right now. It turns out that she's actually diamond tier. People in the chat ask what the hell is going on as he just broke all pro records, and Sungchul says that though the total time it took him is undisputed, what's even more surprising is his match records. Usually people run into problems when they face counters, or risky builds, however he didn't care what his opponents brought to the battle, and during his matches he consistently showed a perfect performance. He gets the money that the guy said he'd give him if he did it, and the dude says he's insane. Nayan starts pogging out, thanking him, and then says she's excited to see how he'll perform in the upcoming ranked games. Sungchul says he's a bit worried about it, and Nayan asks why. He says that since they're streaming it'll be easy for people to stream snipe him, and it's not easy to succeed in sniping, so he's probably worried for nothing. Someone in the chat says that he just jinxed it. He spawns into his first ranked solo match, which is an area called the cemetery. The dude says that he actually got in, and he tells chat to keep their eyes up because he's going to destroy him. Chat starts laughing, saying that he actually has a stream sniper, and Wahyun pulls out his blades. Sungchul and Nayan say that it turns out he wasn't affected at all by this, and Nayan says that she told him to just ignore it when stuff happens, and it's time for it to begin. The first round starts, and the dude starts to release some lightning attack, while leaping straight at Wahyun, rapidly attacking towards his face, but every single attack gets dodged. Wahyun says he wanted to give him a chance since he was confident, but it turns out it was just a waste of time as he cuts him in half. The dude calls him a monster, and now it's time for the second round. They have 10 seconds to adjust things, and the dude says that he's going to lose at this rate, so he'll have to use something special. Wahyun can tell that the aura around him has changed, and the dude comes in for an attack that's way faster than the last time, and it looks like there's more force behind it. Wahyun says that his motions are extremely efficient, just like that of an Eternal, and the dude starts laughing, asking if he gets it now, as he went easy on him in the first round. Wahyun puts up his guard as the dude calls him a hacker, and Wahyun starts to recall Nayan telling him that if he ran into someone that calls him a hacker that he should destroy that person thoroughly, and we see him ready to do just that. Now the other dude realizes that the atmosphere has changed, but he says there's no need to be scared, and no matter how he looks at it he's at the advantage. He tells him to stop trying to be cool, once more calling him a hacker. Wahyun leaps forward, dashing past him, and getting a slice in, and the dude turns ready to counter, but it's too late as Wahyun's gotten behind him yet again, and when he goes to turn after realizing it he gets his arm cut off. He then rears back his fist going for a punch, but his other arm gets sliced off too. The dude begins crying, and both Sungchul and Nayan realize instantly what's going on, as he's toying with him. Sungchul says that it seems like he's following her advice pretty well, and Nayan says that she did tell him to destroy the opponent, but this is too much, and the chat starts blaming her for creating this monster. The dude heals, and later we see him laying up against one of the graves, asking Wahyun what the hell he is. Wahyun says that he wanted to ask him that, before finishing the second round. After that he continued the matches with unstoppable momentum, and he proceeded to win 30 times in a row. Nayan says that he's already at gold rank, and Sungchul chimes in saying that he never thought he'd get a win streak of 30 on his first stream. They start begging to see his build, so Nayan asks Wahyun if it's okay if she shows people his build, and if he doesn't like it he can say no. He says sure, and she says that she has great news for all the chatters, and that Wahyun has agreed to reveal his build. People are amazed by how confident he is to leak it, and Nayan says that we'll do it next stream as this one's over. They start bowing saying they will see them next stream. Right after it ends Sungchul starts going crazy, saying that was amazing. From a fully adaptive AI to a 30-win streak to even revealing his build, this video is going to pop off. Nayan says that he may be going to beat the world record at this rate, and she wonders what the highest win streak was. Sungchul says that it's 76, and it's held by Battler, and it was something he did on a Smurf. She says that she hopes Wahyun can beat the record, and Sungchul agrees, but says Battler is famous for his competitiveness, and he might already be watching this. We see a man scrolling through the forums about how people are talking about how the dude Woohyun fought was a cheater who actually got bodied then banned. People find it funny that the cheater lost to someone who he was calling a cheater, and someone even says that Battler wouldn't even stand a chance. We see Battler saying that's a pretty funny comment, as he was the one reading it all. A few days later on his second stream, Woohyun says that viewer 62 didn't appear in the last stream, and that there must be something else he needs to do. We then hear a familiar voice as Yujin calls out to him, and the chat once more goes crazy by how pretty she is. She says that it's his first practical mission, asking if he's not nervous, and he says that it's earlier than he expected, but he's fine. As soon as he logged into the game he actually got this new mission, and it's a good thing he can skip the training phase since it's just a game. He asks her what the mission is about, and she says that it's to eliminate the invading entities in close to space, and this is another place that the League of Enterprises threw away. They don't say much to them since they can be helpful, but the moment they realize they can't get much from something they just throw it away like this. Woohyun says the corporations here aren't that different from those in the real world, and based on the status window it tells them that the invaders are insect types. He says they're weak, but it's annoying to deal with them because there are so many. Some guards then greet Yujin, and they confirm her credentials, letting her enter. She says this is crazy, and it's her first time seeing a portal appear in an abandoned factory. Woohyun walks over to it, saying that he was wondering what this familiar feeling is, and he's seen this place in the other world too, but he clearly remembers it being medium-sized, and not small. He wonders if there was a mistake or something, and she says that they should go ahead, and start. We then hear a man saying that he's surprised to see them here, asking what brings Yujin for a small-scale subjugation. His name is Choi Hyung-chul. Yujin asks what he's doing here, and he says that he's just as shocked as she is. He didn't expect his mission to overlap with hers. She asks what he's plotting since he threw his mission away already, and he says that's mean, but wonders who the new guy is, saying surely he didn't waste his time in the bureau, and come to win the big corporations. Yujin in a firm tone tells him to stop crossing the line. He laughs, saying that was scary, and he'll let her handle this one. He waves telling her bye. Woohyun asks who that was, and she says that he was the first trainee agent she had to work with, and ever since he left the bureau after he was scouted by the League he's been spreading fake rumors about the bureau. She then pulls out a piece of candy, asking if he would like a piece. Sungchul says this is the first time their relationship has been shown in detail, and Nayeon says she's never seen this. It was originally only stated something bad happened between them, and Sungchul says thanks to this they might get a more in-depth story. Yujin says it's time for them to head into the gate, and as they do so, on the outside we see Hyung-chul and his men saying that it looks like they went in, and it's time for him to start work. He starts licking his lips like a freak. 20 minutes later inside of the reverse planet we see Woohyun wiping blood off of his face, and he's looking down at Yujin bleeding heavily, and her candy is laying right beside her. It rewinds us a little earlier, and as Yujin is telling him that this is how they are meant to get to the reverse world, Woohyun says it's just like the other world, and the ground begins shaking. He says this phenomenon is weird, and she yells telling him to watch out before it all gets super bright, and when he opens his eyes he sees himself in the middle of a forest, saying that he must have got separated from her, and that the path collapses pretty often because of external force, and first things first is he has to get rid of all these bugs before he even bothers to go look for Yujin. But he's not the only one fighting as we see Yujin's hand glowing golden as she uses an ability called Echoing Thunder, slamming the ground, and her lightning attack rips the bugs apart. She says they just keep on coming, and plus the size of this forest seems more like a mid-scale reverse planet than a small one, and something is definitely off. She sighs, hoping that Woohyun is alright, and we see Hyung-chul coming in for some surprise backshots. She turns, dodging the attack, but it's only narrowly, fast enough as it grazes her side. She then swipes, but Hyung-chul distances himself. She asks him why he's doing this, and he says that it's just a secret mission, and he's following orders so she can't hate on him, and more of his men start to appear, and she says this is nonsense. Her wound though is too deep, so she needs to get out of here. She launches an attack at the man in front of her, but he uses an ability called Guardian Stone to block the attack, and while the attack gets blocked the shockwave is so powerful it sends him falling onto the floor, and she quickly runs past him. Hyung-chul tells his men to chase after her, and they start doing so. She does some Edward Elric type shit, and summons a lightning lance, before grabbing onto it, and throwing it backwards towards Hyung-chul, and the rest. It stabs the ground right in front of them, delaying their movements, and she continues running. She spots a hole, and as they start to catch up we see them run past where she just hit herself, and she says that if not for this hole things would have been bad, and she wonders what they are scheming. We go back to Woo-hyun, and the chat is going crazy, saying that this is what they are talking about, as he has been killing them hella fast. He says he could feel that Eugen's presence was here, and something must have happened. He then hears her voice, and instantly starts running through the forest, as we see a centipede has her wrapped up. Woo-hyun leaps forward, and cuts its head off with one strike, and as she begins falling he catches her as well, asking if she is alright. He sees her covered in wounds, and can tell there's no way someone as skilled as her would be losing to a bug, so her injury is from a skill attack, and there is only one person given the situation who would do this to her, and he asks if it was Hyung-chul. She says it was, and Woo-hyun says it means they came in right after that phenomenon. On the outside back to the stream, Naeun says that something is off, since Hyung-chul usually waits to ambush. The chat realizes that they are right, and Naeun suggests that it might be because of the AI, and Sungchul says that is the only conclusion they can reach at the moment, and that a possible hidden story is being developed, and it is getting interesting. Eugen is struggling due to the blood loss, and she says that while she lost them they might come back at any moment, but if she uses her skills it will alert them to where they are, so he needs to get out of here first. He tells her to hide since they still need to do first aid, but he will take care of them. She yells telling him no, and Hyung-chul is a veteran awaken, he can't deal with him. He says that he will be fine, and he has a plan. Back to Hyung-chul, he wonders where the hell she is hiding, and he says that she is injured so she couldn't have gotten far, and they need to search along this creek. He will go down, and get the target, and he senses something as he attacks backwards, stopping right before cutting Woo-hyun's throat, who is shedding crocodile tears telling him to wait. Hyung-chul asks what he is doing, and Woo-hyun sighs, saying that the path suddenly collapsed, and he was separated from her, asking if he knows what happened. The chat says this shit deserves an Oscar, and Hyung-chul tells him that he surely doesn't know anything, and what happened is that he will be able to meet her if he sleeps a bit. As he rears back his hand to finish the attack we see blood flying, and Woo-hyun has stabbed him in the chest. Hyung-chul realizes he's been had, and falls to his knees. His men ask what's wrong as Woo-hyun starts to hide back into the bushes. One of the men starts chasing after him, and Woo-hyun watches from above on a tree, as the man's asking where he went. He says he couldn't have gone far, and Woo-hyun leaps behind him. The dude says that surprised him, and he wonders if it was a bird, but Woo-hyun slits his throat, dealing with it very quickly. Back to Hyung-chul, one of his men is still trying to stop the bleeding, saying that he just needs to get treated after they leave. An attack then comes from above, stabbing Hyung-chul directly in his open wound, and the last guy calls him a crazy bastard, and he asks Woo-hyun where his comrade who chased after him is, and Woo-hyun raises his hand showing that he has the blade. And the dude recognizes it, and yells saying that he's going to pay for that as he summons a bunch of earth spears launching them at Woo-hyun. It's actually called Stone Edge, my bad. Woo-hyun slices through them, and the dude says he's not done yet as he starts to make the earth itself ripple using an attack called Earth Wave, and it flies towards Woo-hyun. He looks to his side, and then kicks down a tree, and braces it against another tree to support it from the landslide. The dude calls him a monster, and Woo-hyun peers out from behind the tree while yet another attack comes from the dirt called Stone Horn. It grazes Woo-hyun's arm a little bit, which looks like it caught him off guard. The man then continues his onslaught telling him to stay away, and Woo-hyun slowly pushes forward through all the attacks, before slicing the dude across the chest. His final words are impossible before he falls onto the floor. The chat says that was insane, and they actually forgot to breathe. Naeun is speechless, and then asks if he really took out 3 hunting dogs with only one key element. Sungchul is straight gooning. Woo-hyun says he took 2 of them out in an ambush, and yet he still lacks a lot compared to when he was in the other world since that attack caught him. He says that he might as well take a look at all of this, and he picks up Hyung-chul's phone. Reading a message about the mission, he says that he'll leave the investigation to the bureau, but he'll definitely take the loot. He gets Dagger of Sharp Return, the bracelet of the winner, and Hermit's necklace. He says he can instantly check the item's effects, which means it really is just like a game. Back in the other world he had to estimate the effect it would have through many trial and error runs. He starts shoving it into his inventory, saying that since the urgent matter has been dealt with he needs to hurry and clear the reverse world before Eugen's wounds get any worse. We see her staring up at something in disbelief as the boss of the gate is staring down at her, and it's called the Emperor Scorpion. She says that this is unfortunate because out of all places she ran into it, and she says maybe she should consider this fortune, because if it went for Woo-hyun instead it would be bad. The Emperor Scorpion starts to attack down at her, and she says that she needs to take care of this on her own. She runs in using one of her attacks, but the Scorpion misses, which catches her off guard, and then its entire body falls over. She looks up as Woo-hyun has already stabbed it from behind, and he asks if she's okay. She's in disbelief, and once more the chat glazes up how pretty she is. The world begins to crack, and Woo-hyun says this is good. She says that he really took down the hunting dogs by himself, and she didn't expect he could do it. He says that she should worry more about getting out of here, and to hop on his back. Naeun says that since the subjugation has been completed the passage will start collapsing, and Sungchul says that's correct, and they have to escape before they get swept away. Woo-hyun tells her to hold on tightly as they start to make a break for it. He completes the raid, getting level increases, and ability points. Back at the headquarters, Director Kim asks if it's true that Yujin was ambushed by another Awaken. Woo-hyun says it is, which causes Director Kim to get annoyed, asking what happened to the ambushers. Woo-hyun tells him he killed them, but he's confused, asking how he did that. He then recalls all the bodies they found by him when they originally confronted him, and asks Woo-hyun if he has any evidence. Woo-hyun hands him his phone, saying that he couldn't verify a lot of it because of the security. Director Kim says that the investigation will go smoothly thanks to this, and that he should take a break, and leave the rest to them. As Woo-hyun goes to leave, Director Kim tells him to wait. He says he's saying this out of concern, but there will be another chance later, and now he has to cool down until then, asking if he understands what he's saying. Woo-hyun says yes, and we see that he can now choose his second key element. Naeun says that his first mission is finally done, and Sungchul says it was much more spectacular than they anticipated. She says that she's sure the viewers are also satisfied judging by the reactions, but then she sees something that catches her eye. Viewer 62 donated 3 million won, saying that he passed the first test, and now he gives him a special mission. She then tells Woo-hyun about it, and he says finally. She says that she'll send him a screenshot, and he sees the special mission thing. Last time they said something similar too, and he wonders if this means that he'll tell him once the stream is over. Woo-hyun thanks her, saying they'll proceed with the stream for now. She says okay. Sungchul asks if something came up, and she says no. The chat wonders what's going on, and she wonders if maybe he can't see the donation window. She says it makes sense because he's an anonymous donor, but does find it a little weird. She tells everybody that the reactions are really nice, and it's time to move back onto PvP. She says that last time in the showdown Woo-hyun went crazy, and she can't wait to see what he does this time. And she says today will be warfare. It's a team game of 5 versus 5, and the first to get 2 wins will win. People say they didn't want this shit, and they wanted to watch duels. She says she low-key expected this, but they will change their mind once they watch. Then she says it's time to begin. He gets a payload match, and we see everybody start to spawn in. Sungchul says that he likes escort missions, the attackers must push the payload to the destination, and the defense he must have tried to stop them. Everybody's played Marvel Rivals, and Overwatch at this point, right? So they get this. Naeun says this is the first 5v5 team game, and she wonders how he's going to do. The first round starts as Woo-hyun's in the rear. There's 2 people in the front, and 2 people on the payload. Woo-hyun looks around, and Sungchul wonders why he's backing off. Woo-hyun senses something, and Naeun says they might be going for a backdoor play. Sungchul says usually people aim to stay close to the payload, but it's not a bad choice if you have the skills to back it up, but it's not easy to stop 5 people on your own. Woo-hyun starts leaping from wall to wall getting to the rooftops, and chat wonders if Woo-hyun will be able to do it, but people think it will be easy because this is unranked. Somebody else says there might be Smurfs on here. Sungchul says that at this rate he's going to run into the defense team as we see him on the map. Woo-hyun leaps over, spotting multiple of them, and raises a dagger into the air before yeeting it, instantly killing one of the men. Another dude yells saying they're getting flanked before Woo-hyun cuts his head off too, and now there's only 3 left. They wonder what the hell their team is doing, and one of them says that he'll stop him, and the rest should go after the payload, but of course Woo-hyun kills all 3 of them in an instant. Woo-hyun's team wonders what's going on as they keep getting kill logs. She says that she did think he would carry, but not this hard. Sungchul says that he feels like that was faster than usual, and he wonders if he is busy. I'm not really sure what that means, but Naeun says they should just keep watching for now. They continued into 3 other modes, which of course he bodied everybody in. Control point, which of course we already know what will happen as we see a group defending a point trying to stop Woo-hyun, but he flies past all their attacks using his weapons to bounce up along the wall, killing them as well. Flashpoint, which I guess is like a capture the flag objective. He got a penta kill in every one of the game modes, and ended the game in a hurry. 62 tells him that his special mission is to open a new system of reverse planet by progressing with the game. She starts pogging out about the 3 million again, and tells Woohyun that they should use this to do a viewer event as well as a dinner party, and get new equipment. Woohyun says that he doesn't care about any of that, and he just wants the screenshot. He sees the new system thing, and wonders if by progressing with the game it means doing more PvP, or PvE. Naeun keeps yapping about more stuff, and he just kind of dono walls her, and she realizes that he wants some quiet. Woohyun says that he'll do what she wants for now, and a few days later on the third stream we see him heading to the training facility of the Bureau. He got a message from Yujin saying that she doesn't think she can teach him for a while because of her injury, but she found a substitute, and she'll introduce him if he goes to the training facility. Naeun and Sungchul both wonder who it'll be. People say it might be Director Kim. Someone else says that it's either going to be someone named Kim Hana, or Jang Hoyoung. Yujin welcomes him, and Woohyun asks how she's doing. She says great, thanks to him, but she still can't teach him herself, and says that this will be the person replacing her. A woman introduces herself to him, and it's Hana. Somebody predicted it in the chat. People are jealous that he's got both baddies with him. Woohyun introduces himself, and says that she's right behind Director Kim when it comes to skill. She's basically second in the Bureau, and things got pretty dangerous when he met her as an enemy in the other world. She says now that they're introduced to each other she's going to get going, and she actually snuck out to be here. Hana is angry because she said she got permission, but Yujin runs away saying my fault. OG Hana tells her to wait, but she's already gone. There's awkward silence for a minute before Hana says that she heard he uses the sword, asking if it's a long sword, or short sword. He says both, and she finds it interesting, saying that she wants to check his level, and they can start with a quick duel. Sungchul is surprised, and Yujin asks what's wrong. Sungchul says that he's just a bit confused with how things are progressing. Yujin asks if it's because they're sparring, as she thought that was common between sword users. He says that a lot of players use the sword, but this only happened because Woohyun is the main character. Naeun looks surprised, and chat says they low-key just got some chills, and the AI sure is crazy. She says that she thought the AI would have limits even if it's supposed to be a fully responsive one, but this is a completely different flow of plot compared to the other users in this game. Sungchul says that this means it has the possibility to progress with a completely different story depending on the actions of the player, just like if it was reality. Maybe Woohyun's version of the game is just the other world. Hana says she doesn't want to use their abilities, and they should only use the sword in the spar. Woohyun tells her that's not possible, and his ability is body enhancement, which means it's active at all times. She says in that case she'll try toning her abilities down a bit. They both ready themselves as it's time for the start of the duel. She takes the initiative, charging in, and slices upwards. He sidesteps, and returns with a swing, which she blocks. She then pushes forward off the ground, charging in, hitting him with a shoulder strike, causing him to fly backwards. Sungchul says she's not someone to be underestimated, as she is hella strong. Naeun says that's the God of Wind build, and Sungchul says she's technically right, but the God of Wind build was inspired by her actually. Woohyun is incredible as he's not falling short of her speed. The chat watches, saying that this is absolutely crazy. For a sub-quest the difficulty is higher than a lot of the main quests. We see her realize something, and Woohyun can tell that she's not just fast but precisely going for his openings. She smiles, saying that she thinks she can take this a bit seriously, and she starts to imbue her sword, and thrust it straight towards his face. The attack is so powerful it creates a massive shockwave, and afterwards she says it was just as expected. We see he actually dodged the attack, but it shattered the entire arena behind him. Once more the chat goes absolutely crazy. She says that he's more amazing than she thought he was. He says if this were a real battle his winning odds would have been 20%, and he's lacking too much compared to when he was in the other world. She asks who he learned his swordsmanship from, and he says that he's self-taught. She's surprised that he's at this caliber, saying that she'll show him something else. The mission is now complete, and he got multiple level ups. We see she takes him somewhere that has tons of weapons on the walls, and she says this is the armory of the Bureau. A man introduces himself, saying that it seems he needs a proper weapon. This is the support and assistance team leader named Kim Hyunwoo. Hana says that that's right, he has his weapons, but there's no need to keep using weapons with no abilities. Woohyun says that's true, and Hyunwoo tells him to deliberate on his choice comfortably, and heads out. Hana tells him to take his time as Woohyun inspects all the weapons. He says there's nothing really useful, but there's this one that is okay called the vampiric spear Dragos. Woo-hyun says that he'll go with this one, but then he spots something that catches his eye. He looks over, and says that that's the Soul Eater. But he says this should be in the black market, wondering why it's here. He says maybe it originally belonged to the Bureau, and someone stole it. He didn't think he'd run into his favorite weapon in a place like this. She asks if he's going to go with that, and he says that he will. She says that sure is interesting, and she'll request the transfer of ownership. Naeun wonders what's going on here, as this is usually where you get a 2-option weapon. People are going crazy because it's apparently a 5-option weapon. Someone donates some money, saying that that sword can be his endgame weapon when he unleashes all of the options. Sungchul says in truth this isn't the first time he's got a weapon inappropriate for this stage in the game. The necklace that he got from the last stream only appears after mid-game. People in chat say that's true. Sungchul says he thought most of them would know this, but Reverse Planet gives rewards strictly depending on risk. The harder the challenge, the bigger the reward. Naeun says that explains why he got such a good necklace because he defeated the hunting dogs, and Sungchul says that's correct, but also he accomplished everything flawlessly from escaping the research facility to sparring with Hana. Naeun says that Soul Eater is the reward he gets from that, which makes sense now. Chat agrees, and Sungchul says it's time to go back to watching. He now has complete ownership over the weapon, and she says that now that he has that they should go for a raid together. They head to the mountains, and as we see them exiting a portal she says she never thought there would be one at the top of the mountain, and she's already all warmed up from that, but also that the guard lied to them when he said it was just a little climb. She says anyways this is where the wolf beast type invading entities appear, and they have a strong territorial instinct over the living area, so they'll be swarming here soon. Woo-hyun says this saves them the trouble of looking for them, and she tells him that she'll interfere only if things get too dangerous, but for now she'll keep an eye out. Woo-hyun summons the Soul Eater from his storage, and says he understands. The wolves begin howling, and running straight down the mountain, and Woo-hyun says that it's about time. He lowers himself, saying that he'll take the first strike with his full power. He slices as all 4 of them leap at him, and I swear one of the wolves just gets turned into a mist. Now his weapon Soul Eater also gets its cutting power increased. Once more chat goes crazy. Naeun says that he swings such a huge sword around like a feather, and Sungchul cries then donates money, saying that that is just amazing control. Woo-hyun says that how it fits in his hand is different from other weapons, but Hana is just surprised, asking if that was the heavenly moon slash just now. If you've watched till the end comment, wind, to let me know. Subscribe for more videos like this, leave a like or a comment to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.